So, quick 10-minute ramble to end my day. It's been an entire week since I made a video, and mostly that's due to the condensed summer semester that I just finished in grad school. So, of course, finals week is a stressor in and of itself, but when a 16-week course gets condensed into 8 weeks, and you have a few of them all ending at the same time, there's not a lot of time for you to be doing extracurricular activities that you like. So that's where I've been, and my brain was fried for the last couple days. On top of that, where even when I had a second, I really wasn't all here. So, so last night, I think we went to Lucifer in order to try to line up the comet Neowise in a good composition of a photo right outside of Denver International Airport, and yeah, the clouds and the smoke from a fire in Canyon City wasn't working out for us, and then this today, it was actually a fire in Evergreen, and rain clouds and just basically no visibility. And so basically, I don't know if I'm going to see that comet again. It's supposed to be visible for, a week, and I don't know. Atmospheric conditions aren't favoring me seeing it. So that would have been on this channel had I been able to see it, but I got hits and misses. So I have a few ideas that I am going to get to that stem from some of the research I had to do for my grad school work, but there's one that it's just a concept that I want to get off my plate. As far as I don't really want to get really in depth with this, or really explore it that far. I have a distaste for it. I just want to get it out there and then just move on. But yeah, there was this trend that I was seeing in the wake of George Floyd's death and all of the protests that followed, right? And in the footage that I was seeing on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Twitter, I consumed a lot of it. There was this sentiment that would come out about, like, how does a white person be a good ally in this time? Well, they sit down, shut up, and listen. That was the echo that I heard throughout many, many different videos. And I can see how there are a lot of white people who need to maybe learn a few things before they try to advocate for anyone else because they suck at it, right? I'll give you that. There are some people that suck at it, and it's infuriating. And in one particular video, I felt like it was an appropriate sentiment because in that video, there were two white people with, black hoodies, which maybe somebody might have thought they were Antifa, but they didn't have any of the other Antifa insignia, but they were basically just spray painting Black Lives Matter on things, or BLM, as they walked with the protest. And a group of black people came over to these white people and said, hey, quit spray painting on things because we're the ones who are going to be judged for what you're doing. You know, if something needs to be spray painted on something, we'll do it. Right? And I saw that and I was like, well, there you go. There's a group of black people in a Black Lives Matter march, and they're telling these white people, don't write stuff for us specifically. And it also it showed in some videos that I saw of people who wanted to be looters, and then mostly big giant black dudes were blocking the entrances to stores. Like, no, no one's going in there. You know, that's not what this march is for. And I saw many different examples of this happening. But I also saw just people who weren't in the marches, who were just making videos on the topic, saying that white people needed to shut up in this moment and just listen. And, you know, for a certain demographic within white people that maybe need to learn a lot more about how to be an ally, that's appropriate. But it's not appropriate for everyone. And I'm not saying it's wrong for them to have said that. I'm saying it rubbed me the wrong way because of, you know, well, for one, the years that I have put into becoming a culturally aware person. And, you know, I don't think that most people who watch my channel would think that I was anything but a very left-leaning and very open and approachable guy. But also, this just has to do with me. My profession is that I'm a counselor, and I lean on empathy very much in my practice, because there are things that people are going to go through that I'm never going to have experienced myself, and yet I still work collaboratively with them in order to work towards a solution for them, or at least help them cope with what they're going through. And, you know, I believe in empathy. I wouldn't be a counselor if I didn't. But also, I believe that I'm going to run into people that I'm never going to be in their shoes. I have, as an addiction counselor, run into many people who have done way harder drugs than I'm ever going to do, ever. You know, even if I were in a car accident and had to, you know, have a surgery or two, you know, I'm never going to have the amount of drugs in my system, even in a hospital setting, as some of the clients that I've had. It's just not going to happen. And I'm not going to get any extra credit with employers, or, you know, learn anything that I really need to know by going down that route and, you know, taking a weekend vacation to do some research on my own. You know, that shit is just not going to produce any increase in empathy that's going to be worth anything, as far as what I do to empathize with a person, meet them where they're at, and help them tackle their life's challenges. I'd say the same applies for gender. You know, half of the possible clients that I'm ever going to see have a completely different experience with the world with regards to gender. And I don't turn them away if they need help. You know, if I thought that I was not the right person to be talking with them about that particular issue, I might refer them to somebody else who I thought could help them more. But that hasn't happened in a very, very long time. There's not much that could be brought up in a session with a client that I'm going to shy away from. Uh, you know, it's just a matter of maturity and empathy. And I feel like the same thing applies to race or color. Um, I've taken so many courses that stress cultural awareness. And I have been in so many situations in my professional life and in my hobby life here on YouTube that I just don't feel like when I hear I need to sit down, shut up, and listen a little bit more, that it lands well, you know? And I'm basically just saying, I didn't like it, you know? But I can understand why they would feel the need to say it, given the climate we're all in. That's all. Now that that's over, I'll move on to some of the more interesting topics that crossed my mind this past week.